What's up guys, I'm Taylor with TK Disc Golf and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I've got the version 2 of the MVP Rover Cart and we're gonna be comparing it to the version 1. I've been using the version 1 since 2019, so about 6 years now. It's crazy that time's flown so much, but this one's seen some better days. It's pretty beat up after 6 years of heavy use on the disc golf course. So we're gonna be doing some side-by-side comparisons of what the differences are, some of the upgrades on the version 2 and much more. So without further ado, let's dive into the video. I will start off the video by saying that MVP did send this Rover Cart to me. I am on Team MVP, so part of the benefits of being on the team is getting some cool stuff every once in a while. I'm gonna do my best to be as unbiased as possible though. I wanna go over the features just from a disc golfer's perspective, no bias of MVP or anything like that. We'll start with the version 1 though. Lots of things going on here. The initial wheels on the version 1 were a foam that are pretty soft. These ones after 6 years are super worn down and smooth to the touch almost. You'll notice that the version 1 was all aluminum tube construction, very lightweight, which is nice, but the problem with it, and one of the failure points that MVP ran into the most, was the amount of fasteners it took to put this cart together. I would say initial assembly time was about 25 to 30 minutes when I initially built this many years ago. And a lot of the screws have come loose. Some of them maybe even fall out. As you can see here, the pole is very loose. I've not tightened any of this in about 6 years. And using some Loctite would have prevented some of the screws from falling out, but overall, you shouldn't have to do that. Failure points were a big concern with MVP when redesigning version 2, and they were very clear about the changes that they wanted to make to remove as many failure points as possible when they sent out the newsletter explaining what all went down with version 2. Another failure point that they ran into was that this thumb screw on the side that holds the wheels on, if you didn't tighten it all the way or didn't put a little bit of super glue or Loctite on there, that thing would come off in the middle of your round and you could go a couple holes without even noticing. All of a sudden, wham, the wheel falls off and then you got to go scrambling trying to find that screw to put the wheels back on. Version 1 also featured the cup holders on the back side, and one of my cup holders actually completely ripped off at one point because I went to go over top of a log. It got caught on a stick and just completely ripped it off. And then moving on to the handle briefly, it was aluminum tube as well. Lots of turning knobs to tighten it down and adjust your height, which was cool because you could really dial in how high you wanted it to, but at the same time, lots of moving parts and was quite difficult to adjust the height. Once it was adjusted, not too bad. You just take the pole off and then throw it in the trunk of your car. And that's one of the key design elements that they were able to stick with the version 2 as well. Initially, their overall goal was to design a low profile, low center of gravity bag cart. It's just a dolly for your disc golf bag, but the simplicity of it was a little challenging due to all the fasteners. But moving on to version 2, everything on this cart from the ground up was a complete redesign. They did not carry over any design aspects from this over to the version 2 other than the low center of gravity to help keep the cart stable when on slopes, and also the simplistic design they kept. But everything else was from the ground up a complete redesign. You will see here steel construction now. The overall frame that your bag sits in is just a steel box, and they did their best to remove as much steel as possible to keep costs low. So you'll see a 90-degree angle steel front legs right here. They rounded out the fronts, rounded out the back. And then there's a nice bar in the front to keep your bag from sliding forward a little bit. And overall, they just wanted to go as minimalistic as possible to prevent steel costs. The more steel that they use to build the frame, the more expensive your overall cost is going to be for the end user. So they wanted to remove as much steel as possible without sacrificing structural integrity, and I think they nailed that design. On the backside, there is a little ledge that'll say MVP Disc Sports and the leading edge, but I think a cool aspect of that is the logos are small, and if you're a team member of another brand like Latitude or Innova, you could still use this cart under your contract if you just covered those little logos up. They didn't want to be overly flashy with the branding because they wanted all disc golfers to be able to use this cart, whether you're on the pro scene or you're on the AM side. But if you have a sponsorship conflict that you're not on Team MVP, you could still use this cart because covering up the logos would be pretty simple with another sticker or just some electrical tape if you really wanted to. The bucket was obviously designed to hold an MVP bag, but I will give you the internal dimensions just in case. 15.5 inches wide and 10.25 inches deep. That is the dimensions of the inside of the bucket. And if your bag fits that, it should fit no problem. I think what you'll want to do is go to your local retailer if you have one and try it out, put your bag in there, make sure it fits. But if you squish down the sides, you should be able to fit some of the larger bags. Even on the original version 1, I had the grip bag AX3 for a long time and it fit in that no problem. And that's a pretty girthy bag on the width as well. This is the MVP Voyager Lite, and it fits no problem. I've got the sides completely stuffed to the brim with towels and other gadgets, so that slides down there and there no problem. It's designed for the MVP Voyager Pro as well, but any of those pro level bags should fit. I think maybe some of the squash bags or the really wide bags like that may have trouble because of how the water bottle holders stick out the sides and they have so much storage capacity on the sides. Those wider bags may be an issue, but if you have just a standard pro bag, then I think you should have no problem getting it to fit. Moving on briefly to the mud flaps. These are an option. It's like a $15 add-on. I decided to go with them because it looks pretty cool, but also it's really functional. I can't tell you how many times when I'm rolling through a puddle of water or something and all of a sudden the water starts rooster tailing up onto my bag or hitting my legs. The mud flaps, when in a rolling position, are perfectly flat, allowing you to prevent that water from splashing up onto your bag. I think one of the biggest upgrades on this cart though is related to the wheels. They have a concealed fastener holding on each wheel. Each wheel has an individual axle that's mounted to the back side of the steel frame, and there's an actual hubcap that covers up the single screw and washer that holds the wheel on. This overall design only has 4 screws to assemble it. The actual steel frame is all welded in place, already assembled, and the only thing you have to attach is the 2 wheels and the pole. There's 2 wheels, so 2 screws, and then there's 2 screws on the handle, which we'll get to in a second. The nice thing about that hubcap is it conceals that fastener and washer, and just in case those ever came loose, they're not going to fall off and lose them on the course because that hubcap will protect them. The wheels on the version 2 have been upgraded as well. They're a much harder polyurethane foam, very hard to the touch, and I think they're going to hold up a lot better than the version 1s. Like I had already said, the version 1s very smooth to the touch. After 6 years, all the treads completely worn off, and it was a very soft foam to them. These are hard as a rock, and I think the durability is going to be proven over time on these. But moving on to the pole design, I'm really liking what they did here. It's super easy to remove the pole, just one push button and a thumb screw to tighten, and your entire pole system comes out. Having those thumb screws at a 45-degree angle keeps the overall handle extremely rock solid. It is not wobbling like the other one would. Even when on the version 1, if you had all the fasteners tightened, there's still a little bit of wobble and just shakiness to it. But this thing, it is a solid product. It is not going anywhere when you have those thumb screws tightened all the way down. There's 4 different height settings on the handle that are easily adjustable with the push button and one of the thumb screws. And also a cool feature is you can actually angle the handle straight backwards or left and right by simply removing the 2 screws and adjusting it, whichever preference you like. Wrapping it up, they've moved the water bottle holder from down low, which always got stuck on underbrush or logs like mine actually broke. They moved the water bottle holder up top, right where the handle's at, for easier access. Another advantage of the water bottle holder is this is actually meant for a bicycle. So the spacing on these 2 screws are universal. You should be able to upgrade this water bottle holder no problem to allow for a bigger bottle. Currently, the one comes with it is a little cheap, a little flimsy, and really only big enough to hold a plastic bottle or a very small canteen. If you wanted to upgrade this, it wouldn't be too expensive, I don't think, and the spacing on those screws should fit any bicycle mountable water bottle holder that you're looking to upgrade to. As far as how the cart feels to tow around, it's super smooth on the ground. It's got a little bit more weight than the version 1, but honestly, I like that. It really feels like a solid product, and I'm having no problem moving it around in the grass. I've not had the chance to take it to a course just yet. I was filming this video on my lunch break, but I don't envision this being an issue at all to pull it up and down hills or up and over stairs or logs or anything like that. Now let's quickly talk about the pricing differences. Version 1 was originally, I think, 140 to 160 bucks, depending on which retailer you bought it from, and I am beyond excited and impressed to say that the version 2 is the exact same price. All of these upgrades, steel construction, solid body, improvements on the wheels, fenders, handle, all of those improvements, they were able to maintain the same price. Just absolutely boggles my mind. And that puts them in a very competitive spot because this makes it the most economical disc golf bag cart on the market. I think the next closest one would maybe be the Zuka Easy Cart, but even those are 190 bucks just for the bag. And then your bag's sitting up higher on that one too, making it more likely to topple over. With this design, like I had already said, the center of gravity is so much lower. You can really tip this bag, and the tipping point is a pretty extreme angle. My final thoughts on the cart is I'm beyond impressed with it. My only caveat with it was I think the water bottle holder, but that's an easy upgrade. The potential for customizations on this cart are out of the control. There's space here to put some vinyl stickers. There's space here for some vinyl stickers. I mean, you can put a rubber mat down here. I mean, or umbrella holder instead of the water bottle holder. You name it, you could do it all with this, I think. But that's gonna wrap up this quick comparison video of the Rover Cart version 2. I'm beyond excited to have this thing, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're looking to pick one of these up, be sure to reach out to your local retailers because this is a drop shippable item, so your retailer will be able to order it and have it shipped directly from MVP HQ. Don't forget to subscribe to this video so you can see all of our updates on MVP products and our shenanigans on the course, and we will see you on the next video.